Sway Iowa voters. Let's talk to Congressman Steve King. He represents Iowa's 5th Congressional District, and he joins us today from the D.C. Bureau. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on this morning, Steve.
Before I ask you about any potential endorsement, a moment ago we were talking about Newt Gingrich's skyrocketing poll numbers in Iowa 3 weeks away. Do you think they're going to hold?
You know, it's going to be tough for him to hold. It's a phenomenal movement that Newt Gingrich has had at this point. And now I think that, as you said, the scrutiny is going to be white hot over the next few weeks. And for him, if he can maintain his momentum over the next 2 to 3 weeks and not be pulled down by all that scrutiny and criticism that's bound to come from all sides, this is a kind of a game of king of the hill, and they're all going to try to pull him down now. If he can hang on to that, he's got a great chance to win in Iowa.
Sure.
Of course, Mitt Romney is launching up his campaign and making a play for it. And we've seen your polls that you just put on the screen before the break. That's really interesting, Steve.
Who are you going to endorse?
You know, I have not made up my mind. I've said I want my head and my heart to come together behind a single candidate, and then I'll jump in with both feet. This is the most difficult presidential decision that I have seen, and last time it was plenty hard enough. This time it's even harder.
And this time around, something new. Donald Trump is going to be hosting a debate with Newsmax coming up 2 days after Christmas. There are a lot of establishment GOP who are saying it's absolutely beneath anybody seeking the presidency to show up on a program with that guy. What do you think, Mr. King?
Well, I wouldn't agree with that. All these presidential candidates, or most of them at least, have knocked on Donald Trump's door to talk to him in private. Why wouldn't they want to talk to him out in public in a debate that I think will have the focus of America on it? And the last shot at this before we go into the Iowa caucuses, I hope I can be there. I think it's going to be very entertaining, and I think Donald Trump will ask questions that no other moderator has asked, and I think he'll press in a way that no one has pressed before.
I think you're exactly right. All right, meanwhile, we were just talking about how some schools out in California are banning poinsettias because they remind people of Christmas. Tell me about this Bible ban at Walter Reed and what you're doing about it.
Well, I had a memo handed to me last Thursday afternoon, dated September 14th from Walter Reed Hospital, signed by the Chief of Staff. And it states on there, it's a 5-page memo, and you get down to the last page, it says that there will be no religious items, i.e. no Bibles, no reading material, no artifacts that will be either delivered or used during visits to patients at Walter Reed. And I will tell you, when I read that provision in there, it just sent me straight up in the air to
Absolutely.
think. People they're losing a leg, an arm, they're wounded. Some don't survive. And once they get to Walter Reed, they might be on their deathbed. And this order says that, as for example, a priest can't come in with a Bible and use it in a service, or a pastor.
That's
the
crazy.
Eucharist, last rites are written off on this rule, and it is crazy. Our troops, our soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines fought for and took an oath to the Constitution, and that includes our religious liberty, and they're denied that in a military hospital.
Well, the good news is, Congressman, they say they have now ended the policy. Quote, the instructions about the Bibles and reading materials have been rescinded. It will be written to articulate our initial intention, which was to respect religious and cultural practices of our patients, and it goes on and on. So that's good news.
Well, it's good news, but I haven't seen the new rule yet, and I want to scrutinize that one very closely. What was the purpose in writing this? It wasn't ambiguous. It was very clear.
It was.
No Bibles. It doesn't say no Korans, by the way, which crossed my mind, but I suppose it's covered in the general language. This administration, this has got to flow from the White House. They have to look at that and think Barack Obama would approve of this at least. I'm going to meet with the Admiral this afternoon at 3 o'clock. We're going to talk about this, but whoever implemented this policy, whoever allowed that to flow through underneath their eyes, there was a reason for it. This is not an accident, and I think the one who initiated it should be dismissed. They poorly served the Admiral, and if that doesn't happen, I think I'm going to have to talk to the Admiral a little more seriously.
Well, thanks for taking this seriously and doing something about it. Steve King, Congressman from the state of my birth, Iowa. Congressman, thank you very much.
Thank you a lot, Steve.
All right.